What's up, guys? So today I'm going to go over kind of the building phase that we're going through. Before I went to the building phase, I wanted to walk you guys through what I did prior to that, and that was a detox phase. So the reason why, some of you might know, is I was up to about 260 pounds, and I looked pretty good actually. But I went to the doctor, had EKG done, blood work done, all sorts of stuff done, and they had a little bit of a scare with an EKG that came back abnormal. Me being a family man, I needed to put my health first, so I had to look at kind of what was going on. Doctor had advised me at that point in time, before any other blood work or any other tests, to just start kind of downsizing, and so I did. But prior to that, we got a whole other slew of tests done just to see where my body was at, and it all came back pretty normal, actually. Then I went in, got a heart stress test, got another EKG done, got kidneys test, got all of that stuff test, and it all came back 100%, no issues. A little bit of kidney, how do I want to say this? Kidney hypertrophy, so growth in the kidneys themselves. But that's just honestly from a lifetime worth of pushing my body when it comes to the amount of protein that I've been taking and the amount of food that I've been taking, and some of the obvious things I've used as far as anabolics and stuff like that previously has had some of their impacts on my health. So keep that in mind, that if you decide to walk down that road of some sort of hormone replacement therapy, that no matter what, you're going to have an impact on your body, even if you're super smart about it. Just be smart about this, guys. So I went through that whole entire thing, got all the blood work done, got all the expensive, nice tests done, got all of the ultrasounds done, and it came back I was in pretty damn good health. Now the issue is that I was not taking care of the basic things, like making sure I was keeping cardio in my off season, and making sure I wasn't eating like an asshole all the time, and making sure that I was keeping my heart health a priority while trying to put on muscle tissue. And looking back at it in a retrospective aspect, had I kept cardio in and had I kept heart health a priority, like I tell all my clients to do, I probably would be able to maintain that 260 pounds at a much leaner physique, and my health would stay in line. So the big scares for me was when I looked at my health markers, my blood pressure was through the roof, my HRV was jack shit, and my heart rate was pretty high. And so it was telling me that my body was under a ton of stress. And so I took immediate action myself and cut myself all the way down. And then I reached out to a good friend of mine who is now helping me and working side by side with me on coaching moving forward, Dom, who's based out of New York. And him and I kind of talked back and forth and kind of went about an idea of doing this as healthfully as possible, putting on as much muscle tissue as possible. So give you guys kind of a rundown of the phases that we went through after I started dieting myself down. So I was 260. I dieted myself down to about 242, 235, somewhere in that area. And then I reached out to Dom, and him and I talked. And that's when we actually started the detox phase. So the detox phase was about a 4 to 6 week phase. We cleaned out my system completely. I completely came off of TRT that I was on. We reset my hormone panels and got my body kind of kicking back to where it was. Got blood work done, saw where everything was looking, just to see my body at its bare minimum. So during that detox phase, we dropped protein down pretty low. We increased fruits, veggies, whole grains, a lot of nutrient dense foods, and we dropped a lot of the inflammatory aspects that would happen in order to allow my body to kind of come back to, if I was eating what a healthy individual should be eating all the time, not super high protein, not super high carbohydrate, and making sure to keep an idea on if I was really eating nutrient dense foods and focusing on overall health, what my body would look like. And were there any outlying issues when we did this for 4 to 6 weeks that kind of prevailed after we kind of cleaned up my health as much as possible. And it came back. Thyroid function was great. Testosterone levels were low. I was sitting probably, I think when we got the test done, I think it came back that I was like a 260 test level, which is really low. And that was after kind of letting my body reset and letting everything kind of reset to where it should be. So, you know, again, you got to understand myself. I've been now bodybuilding we're going on about 12 years of bodybuilding. And in that time frame, I've done all the stupid shit from poor hormones all the way through to HRT of some sort. And so, obviously for my body, it's going to be hard to get that natural cycle of my testosterone levels coming back. When I was in a fertility phase with my wife, it took me about 8 weeks to even get my testosterone, 8 to 12 weeks to even get my testosterone back to about a 500 naturally. So once you shut those systems down, understand it's going to take some time to kick them back in. So that was the detox phase. We did that. At the end of the detox phase, I was about 229. So I was at my biggest 260. After the detox phase, water dropping, everything like that, we dropped down to about 229. Might have been actually even a little bit lower than that, more like 225, 226, when we actually started the next phase, which is phase 1. So phase 1, we went back to more of a traditional bodybuilder style diet. After we got blood work done, made sure there were no underlying issues. There was no more issues with blood pressure or HRV or heart rate. Actually, all of those, once I was down to that 225 to 229 range, it's crazy. My HRV probably went up 100 points. My heart rate went down to I think the lowest I got was a 42 resting heart rate. And my blood pressure dropped all the way down to a 105 over 72. And I'm a hypertensive person. I always run super high. So to see those kind of numbers was insane to me, which also tells me that probably at 5'8", I shouldn't be more than 230 pounds. But, I'm a bodybuilder, so I'm going to push the limits. So anyways, so now we moved into phase 1. Protein's going to increase back up. Carbohydrates went back up. We're still keeping a lot of nutrient-dense foods in at this point in time, just to make sure that we're covering all our bases as far as health goes. And then we did go back onto a hormone replacement therapy. 4 weeks ago, we started out at about 229, that 225 to 229. We're up to about 241 right now. And conditioning is actually staying the same, if not improving a little bit, which is nice to see. A lot of that is because we're covering all of our bases, vitamins, minerals, food-wise, and my body's just really responding. Digestion has been perfect. Health markers really haven't taken a hit, and to have that big of a weight swing, you would think that my heart rate would probably go through the roof, and my blood pressure would go through the roof, and whatnot. But because of the fact that we've kept cardio in this time around, and I'm keeping that cardiovascular health up, my body seems to be responding a lot better and putting on weight a little bit better than it did previously, and I'm not putting on nearly as much body fat. So for everybody who doesn't like cardio in their off seasons, this is one thing you need to keep in mind. If you get rid of your cardiovascular health, the biggest issue that you're going to notice is all processes run on oxygen, including muscle building. So if we take out cardio, you're taking away the main driver that's going to allow your body to process and utilize oxygen better. Therefore, weight gain, muscle building, all that stuff, it's going to be harder on your body. So we're keeping some cardio in just to keep all those health markers in line as we continue to build up. The other difference that we did have was the first about 3 to 4 weeks, the workouts were not balls to walls, kill yourself workouts. So really it was a lot of high intensity, compound movements, supersets. A lot of the stuff was more like an 80-ish, 90-ish percentile range for the working rep range and weight range that I was working with. We weren't pushing super heavy, only because of the fact that we were waiting for my body to get past that whole detox phase. When I did that detox phase, I obviously lost a lot of water retention, and therefore my joints kind of dried out quite a bit. My knees felt like they were going to bust all day, every day. And so we had to wait for my body to get that fluid back, that intravascular fluid back as well, just so I wouldn't injure myself. And so this past week, we actually started switching this up. And so now the workouts are more aimed towards being working up to one heavy max set. So I'm basically went from supersets and high reps, still going to give me hypertrophy, still going to give me some muscle growth, to now we're going to move more towards something that I know I respond well to, which is doing a warm-up set, doing a feeder set to feel exactly where the weight's at, and then working up to one heavy set, and that heavy set, then we're going to actually take and push it to the max by doing rest pause. So give you an example, if I'm doing a dumbbell shoulder press, now it's going to be with that compound movement. I'll do a set of 15 just to warm up. I'll do a heavy set of 8 just to kind of feel it out. Depending upon how that heavy set of 8 feels, I'll probably go up. And then from that heavy set of 8, now what I'll do is I'll hit that heavy set, hit it for 8, count about 5 deep breaths, and then take it to failure again. So if I'm doing, I did 135 pound shoulder presses 2 days ago, and with that, we hit 8 reps. I set the weights down, 5 deep breaths, went again, and only got 2. But again, this is about stressing that muscle tissue and pushing that muscle tissue beyond what you could do with a certain amount of weight. Now next week, that weight's gonna have to increase, God help me, and I'm gonna be shooting for 140 pound dumbbell presses for shoulder presses. So we'll see how this all works out, but give you guys a kind of an update of where we were, what we kind of went through, and kind of the approach that's coming up next is we'll continue to stay on the same path that we're working on right now. Supplementation wise, we'll start to change up a few things, but nothing crazy. I'm more of one that believes in nutrition and the workouts and beating the hell out of myself with the workouts more than anything else. The supplements are there just to help out with recovery and making sure that I can actually build a little bit faster. I mean, that's really the honest truth with that. So I'll walk you guys through the next phase once we kind of switch into it and have you guys kind of follow along with me. We'll see where my weight goes. I wasn't expecting to see 241 already. So we've got about another 12 weeks of building ahead of us. We'll see kind of how my body trends over the next 12 weeks. And then the real fun begins of cutting down for show. So appreciate you guys checking me out. I'll be posting up a couple more videos just on this specific aspect, especially with the workouts and kind of helping you guys understand what we're doing with the workouts as we move forward. And then I'll dive a little bit deeper into the nutrition. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to know, please post in the comments below. Thanks, guys.